Welcome to the second part of our so-called EM Smart Dual SC laser series. Here we have a 20-watt diode laser as well as a 20-watt fiber laser. And now in this second part, we're going to focus more on what we want to produce with it. In the first part, if you missed that, you can watch it again in the unboxing video. What's included here? And also how to set it up in Lightburn. Yes, that was the first part where we also made a small test piece. I still have it here, so I didn't throw it away. I still have it here. And now in the second part, we're focusing more on producing different surfaces. We support over 300 surfaces with an area of 150 by 150 millimeters. I really pushed it to the limit here as well. We'll get to those later. So wood, those are diode lasers. And here we have a speed of 15,000 millimeters per second and a repeat accuracy of 1 micron, or 1,000th of a millimeter. And that's really awesome, I have to say. Working with it is just really, really cool. Just watching it alone, now I want to say this in advance for the videos, I left out the protective cover here, but of course I wore the safety goggles. Nevertheless, I always recommend keeping the enclosure closed. In my case, for the recordings, I worked with it open at my own risk. But just as a warning, please don't try this yourself. And otherwise, I'd say let's take a look at all the things I've made with it. And especially what you can actually use a laser like this for. Yeah, normally the laser lights up so nicely here. When I turn it on, the whole thing looks really nice. If I stay on it here, then it turns on. Then it lights up here, but the fan runs the whole time. That's a bit distracting in the recording, but it looks pretty awesome. Here, this is the EM Smart. But I want to turn it off now, otherwise the fan will keep running. Okay, but still, what can we actually do with it? I recorded quite a bit while I was making things, and that's actually where I'd like to start. With a piece of wood. Why? Because here we use the entire surface, so this palm-sized area. And above all, I cut wood here. You can see it very clearly. That means it was laser cut, all done with a diode laser, of course. Because with a fiber laser, you can't see anything at all on wood. Yes, you can already see very clearly in the time lapse how the whole thing is being laser cut here. And it really, really looks awesome too. And now we'll take a look at it under the camera. Yeah, this is what it looks like under the camera. You can already see this is the structure. I could have lasered a bit more slowly. Then the engraving would have been a bit deeper, but you can see it very clearly. The 150 by 150 millimeters were fully used, now as a circle, but from corner to corner. In the end, it's in this, or in diameter, it's exactly those 15 centimeters. Yeah, that's how the whole thing looks, and it's definitely very nice. The whole thing also on wood, as I said, the diode laser. Switching between the two types of lasers, I think I briefly mentioned that in the first part. I want to quickly show you that again. It's actually pretty simple. You just double click here in the selection, which is in the box at the top right. And then a window opens where you can either check this box or slide the toggle to the right. And then laser 2 is activated. In this case, laser 2 is the diode laser and laser 1 is the fiber laser. Switching between the two lasers is that simple. So what else can we do with it? Well, the wood is pretty nice, yeah. We can also cut the wood if we go slower. That's possible too. I haven't done that now. Of course, I recommend putting a small honeycomb underneath because otherwise the laser will hit the surface below. You can take the whole thing out in the middle. Then you could do the whole thing as well. But then you'll need a different surface than this tabletop here. A metal surface. That would work too. That would actually be ideal and would save you the honeycomb, obviously. So you can definitely do something with it. But my focus here is actually less on cutting. Why? For me, the area is better suited for cutting. A bit too small. I find it much more interesting to use a laser like this, especially since you can also work commercially here, above all. So, of course, as we'll see in the third part, you can manufacture a lot of things here mechanically. With it, you can produce things like machine labels or other items, business cards. You can make tons of them here, non-stop, of course. But we can also get very creative here. You just have to be careful as anything is possible within the bounds of safety precautions and produce things like this. A piece of leather. Let's take a quick look at it under the camera as well. I engraved this leather piece here with the laser. You can see here, it gets engraved really quickly. In the video, you can also see very quickly how it's produced. So we're talking about maybe 2 seconds of processing time here, and then you get a result like this. I have to say that looks pretty cool now. You could have also colored it in and so on. You can really put a lot of creativity into this. You could maybe add a symbol here as well, and so on and so forth. Anything is possible. And then you find yourself at a booth at the Christmas market and you say, hey, the little kid would like to have their name on a little sign like this. Or what kind of design do you want, or something like that. And then you just press here and really within seconds it's already made. This way, for example, you can also work very quickly in a commercial setting, but you can also simply offer the whole thing online. There are various platforms for that after all. Hey, your desired name here on a keychain, that would be one possibility. So as I said, these are just suggestions, just some ideas for what you can use a laser like this for. I mean, price-wise, it's still a bit expensive, not exactly cheap. Nevertheless, you really have a high-end laser here. You really have to say that if you need one. You can also engrave a coin here. I've done that as well. We can take a look at that too. So for metallic surfaces, the laser is of course ideal. You can see it very nicely here as well. I engraved it very, very slowly and meticulously so that the maximum depth would be achieved. And then, as a result of this careful process, you end up with a truly beautiful and intricate pattern. Pattern might not be the right word, but it's a beautiful image. And in the end, I engraved an eagle's head onto this coin. It's just another way of processing. So for metallic surfaces, the fiber laser is of course ideal. If we have other surfaces here, like wood, then it's the diode laser. You can switch between them within seconds. You don't have to edit the image again and again. You can really save yourself that. You can edit the image as much as you want and say, oh no, that's the fiber laser. I can't see anything on the wood with that. You fiddle around, start over, and the whole thing goes super fast. So now let's move on to the bracelet. That's also really awesome, of course. You can just put it on like this. Let's take a quick look at that now too. That also took just a few seconds and the whole thing was done. Yeah, you just align it quickly, press the button, and it's engraved in a second. Let's take a quick look at that as well. Yeah, I didn't color that in either, of course. So I didn't fill it in, I just did the outline here, but that's what it looks like. Not really that noticeable. You can also get a bit creative with that if you want to do something a little more unique. Of course, I engraved my channel name here, and now you can wear it like this on your wrist. Looks pretty cool too. And of course, we can do this with different names. That's also possible. And you can even offer it as a service. Custom names and so on for weddings or whatever you like. There are so many ways to offer this kind of thing. And as I said, if you invest in something like this, it pays off. Not everyone does this, so the market might not be quite as saturated. But let's keep going. Of course, we're still pushing creativity further. And here I have two examples. I made one with the diode laser and the other with the fiber laser. And there are two differences. In this case, I recorded one of them here. Done. Here, I used the fiber laser to process the plastic. And that's actually pretty easy to do. Again, please make sure to only do this indoors with proper ventilation. Yeah, I almost cut it a bit close doing this at home, but it still worked out in the end. Ideally, you should do this outside or have a proper exhaust system. It's the only thing I can really recommend. So now we have the two samples side by side. Yeah, I also used my own here, but as you can see, we have the same thing twice, here once with the fiber laser. This one here is kind of matte, but it also looks good. I have to say, it looks pretty cool. I really like that you can already see some engraving differences here. Above all, you can see different engravings here, like the TV here. It's a bit different in terms of texture. It's actually a bit more subtle. Here with the diode laser, the whole thing is a bit more striking. That's also possible, of course. And as you can see, you can really get creative with it. Of course, that's a matter of taste, but honestly, both look really, really nice. Really awesome, actually. Yeah, and then last but not least, I also tried my hand at slate. That works with both, yes, with a diode laser as well as with a fiber laser. Personally, I think the fiber laser is better suited for this. I would really only recommend working with the fiber laser here because I just find the level of detail a bit better than with the diode laser. I don't know if that's just my imagination, but that's always how it seems to me. So that also worked out wonderfully. I just made a little Mario picture here for my own private purposes, of course. Of course, you're not allowed to sell that. It's protected by license. I should mention that as well. So please be careful about that. In case anyone has super cool ideas, it's not quite that simple, of course. So a lot of things are, of course, also protected. But for private use, it's naturally allowed. So, and I can show you that again. Once it's finished, it looks like this. That actually looks pretty cool. All the figures are tiny, really small on there. So you really have to get up close to see it. Zoom in. And I've just used this here as a sample, but you could also use my TV here, for example. You could also decorate something here, but you can also use a rectangular one. You can already see here the next season is coming out soon of One Piece. We also have the link here, for example. Looks awesome too for Star Wars fans. Of course, all of that is included as well. Yes, Naruto is included too. You can already see, yeah, so of course you can do quite a bit with Slate as well, and it's done pretty quickly. What I like best here is, of course, that I can see the outline. I can see where I need to put something, then I just press it and it's really awesome. With a regular laser, which is often used outdoors with diode lasers, having the axis is nice, of course. I can work on larger objects, but I have to move the laser around the outside each time and make some adjustments. Here though, it's really awesome. You can fine-tune it by hand and then just press the button. It does go a bit faster, and it gets even faster if you're doing something in series. There's a little bracket you can attach here. That will be covered in part 3. Because there we want to work in a way that's more suitable for series production. So really where you use a running number, for example, that's what you use. That will be covered in the 3rd part. In that part, I also want to show you a bit more in Lightburn, which might be quite interesting. A running number, why is that? For example, when you hand out business cards and the whole thing is, say, on metal, there's a suggestion. For instance, if the customer calls and says, hey, I have a business card here, I'm calling and so on, and you have a running serial number here. And you assign serial numbers 0 to 100 somewhere on the left and serial numbers 101 to 200 somewhere on the right in the city. Then you'll definitely know where the demand is higher. You can also do a lot of analysis with that, which is also very interesting. That's possible too. Or you have 2 sales representatives. And then you can see which representative gets the most calls. That too is something that can be measured a bit, for example. But that's just one thing. You can do it, but it's just an idea. And as I said, in the 3rd part, we'll go a bit more into the series. Then we'll talk about it again. I also want to show you something in Lightburn. And I hope I was able to show you a bit about the surfaces here in the 2nd part. How nice and how easy everything works here. It really works super easily. I just love it. Working with a phaser laser, in this case also this dual laser here with the integrated diode laser, because it's just really fast, really fun, and I really like it. Yes, I hope I was able to give you some insight into that. Otherwise, I'm of course looking forward to releasing part 3 of the video, and if you missed part 1, definitely take another look at it at your leisure, where I demonstrate the whole setup process for you again. That's it from my side, and see you next time on AlHuTV.